Hey everyone. In this video, I want to talk to you about how to know when to cut someone out of your life. So I'm going to go through a few warning signs that pretty much are indicators for someone who no longer deserves a spot in your life, and hopefully this video will be able to help you notice these trends and then have the courage to cut these people out of your life. So one of the main things here that you want to be looking for is if somebody is consistently mistreating you or disrespecting you, then they no longer deserve a place in your life. I know that sometimes you'll run into cases where it may be a family member or a longtime friend or even a romantic partner who is exhibiting this behavior with you. And as hard as it might be, your life will become so much better when you cut this person out of it. So have the courage to do just that, even if it means no longer speaking to a family member. Everybody likes to say that family should be the most important thing in your life, and while I do agree with that in some cases, I agree with it when somebody has healthy family members to be around. In those cases, definitely keep your family unit strong. But if you have family members or even relatives who aren't part of your immediate family but are still in your family, and they aren't that great to be around and they don't make you happy and they're constantly judging you and making you feel bad, then cut them out of your life. And in the cases where your family isn't very healthy, and unfortunately that is pretty common because there are a lot of cycles of suffering where if somebody has bad parents, then they're far more likely to be a bad parent themselves, and then the cycle just continues. But if you do happen to have a bit of an unhealthy family dynamic, then as tough as it may be, I would say you should see if you can either cut those people out of your life or at least greatly reduce the amount of time you see them or spend with them. As much as you can, it's going to make your life better if you can keep these people out of your everyday life. I know it can be hard, trust me, I do, but if they're bringing you more pain and suffering than their absence brings you, then you should let them go. And another thing here, if somebody is creating more anxiety in your life than joy when you're around them, you should probably consider not having that person in your life. You see, I'm not advocating for always feeling good 100% of the time. I know that's not realistic. But if somebody is always making you feel anxious or stressed in their presence, or even in their absence, if you're just thinking about them gives you anxiety and stress because you don't know where you stand with them, then consider dropping them out of your life. Especially if it's someone you're dating. If you are always anxious and stressed trying to figure out how they feel about you because they're not being straight up about it, and if that's the case, that usually means that they don't like you as much as you believe. And in those cases, you probably want to consider letting them go, or at least giving them a lot of space and seeing if they stick around. And if they do, then that's a sign that they like you. If they fall off, then you dodged a bullet most likely, so let them go. And another huge thing here, and this is something I've had a lot of experience with, unfortunately, if people are only ever there for you when they need something from you, or if they're never there for you in general, then let those people go. I've had experience with both sides of this in friendships in my past where I've befriended people who were never there for me when I needed them, but I was always there for them because I'm loyal. Well, no longer though, because I stopped being loyal to people who aren't loyal to me, because that should be a two-way street. But I've cut out people from my past because of the fact that they were never there for me when I needed them. I'm not going to tolerate somebody only being around when they need something from me and never being there for me when I need them, because that's not cool. That's not cool behavior. If you have people like this in your life, please let them go. It'll make you so much happier as it did for me, because it reduced so much stress and anxiety, and it got rid of a lot of my feelings of inferiority because I was no longer keeping people around me who were just users. I was being a people pleaser to them, and they were gobbling it up because they loved the attention and they loved having a strong support unit in their life, even if they felt like they didn't need to return it because they had issues of their own. But do not keep these people around, especially in the case where they're only there for you when they need something from you. I've had a friend who was like that as well, and in fact, a funny story, what actually ended our friendship was him borrowing a tool from my father, a crowbar, to go move stuff. He ended up breaking the crowbar. I don't know how the hell you break a crowbar. They're really thick and strong. But he somehow broke a crowbar in half and then refused to pay my dad back for it. And then eventually, after like 6 months passed, made me go over to his house to get the money finally. And then I was just like, okay, I'm done with it. This person has only ever been in my life when they need something from me, like in this case where they needed a crowbar for moving. And then whenever they're around, things aren't great, and they force me to go through all these hoops to do things, and it just wasn't cool. I mean, what friend isn't going to pay you back immediately after they do something like that? I mean, I had known the guy for over a decade at that point, so it doesn't matter how long you've known someone if they treat you like shit all the time. It doesn't. Sunk costs are a fallacy. Do not keep people in your life just because you have a history with them. If they're mistreating you, then they don't deserve a spot in your life, even if you've known them for 20, 30, 40 years. If they do not make you happy more than they make you feel sad or anxious or any more negative emotion, then let them go. You'll become so much happier. And like I said, sunk costs don't mean anything. If you keep somebody around you who makes you unhappy just because you've known them for a while, then all you're doing is just wasting time with somebody who doesn't make you happy. Do not do that. Have the courage and the strength to let these people go. It will give you peace of mind, and it'll make your mental health so much better. I urge all of you to do this, please. And I'll just end it with this quote that I saw somewhere. I can't remember where, but somebody basically said, if being away from somebody gives you peace, then you didn't actually lose them. So remember that when you're thinking about who to keep in your life. Anyway, I hope this video helped you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Arrivederci!